million of relief money from the COVID emergency left for property owners who have delinquent property taxes, mortgages, or are behind in other bills. Now, to access it, you can call 211, and I'll leave a couple of cards if anybody wants to call us down at the yard. We'll help you with the paperwork. We help people who struggle with reading, writing, paying bills, all that kind of jazz. Okay? So thank you for your time, and swing by on the first day of summer. It's a drive up. You come up in a classic car, we give you free ice cream. Thank you for your time.
Fire truck for
Is it a classic fire truck? Bring the old fire truck.
All right, anybody else?
Yes. Hi.
Name and address?
My name is Jessica. I was going to speak in regards to Larry Letourneau, who lives at 2176 Mar Drive. Okay. He's been a Cawcon resident and taxpayer for more than 30 years. He says there are many things that he is concerned about, knowing that the township of Cawcon has done or is doing to him and his family. First off, he is not the only owner of the property at Mar Lane. His son, Joseph Letourneau, and daughter-in-law, Jody Letourneau, are both also owners. No notices of any violations have been issued to them, only to Larry. Is that legal? Second, it has come to its attention that the township attorney, in an open meeting, spoke on his health conditions during a meeting in which he was not in attendance. It's disturbing in many ways, as he is dying of lung cancer. He cannot change that fact. This is information for only himself to disclose to anyone, not for a township attorney by the name of Justin Ebel to disclose to the township board about his hardships or health concern or problems. It's a HIPAA violation, I believe, against the township of Cawcolin, and it should be addressed by the Cawcolin Township Board of Members. It says, I have been through a lot, and I have been making progress on the property, cleaning it up. If you were wondering if I am going through hardships, the answer is yes. If you're wondering if I need help, the answer is yes. If you're wondering if he has cancer and is dying, the answer to that is also yes. After reviewing a bid for a cleanup property owned by himself, his son, and daughter-in-law, S&S Services for $10,000 for cleaning up the property, I find myself and my family being a target due to his health conditions and the township knowing of his health conditions. The township attorney disclosing this information to the public and a public body without his permission. Is that extortion? Is it a plan? Who is the complainant? Can the township file against one single owner when there are 3 owners to the property? It continues on to say that I do have plans to continue to clean up our land. Due to his health conditions, it's become difficult some days, but he still tries to move forward, as he doesn't want to leave the earth and leave his family with the hardships that the township is putting on the property, both financially and emotionally. His days are numbered, and he'll soon be with God. My family has lived on this land for generations and will continue even after I am gone. My spirit is all they will have left to guide them, and I have been a provider for my family for my entire life. I will continue to do so till the good Lord takes me. I do not wish to leave my hardships on my family caused by the carelessness of the township. To be fair, send the violations to all parties that are on the property deed. To be fair, send the notices of tax liens to all all owners of the property, not just the one who is dying, the easy target. My health is diminishing, my heart is not. My love for my friends and family is not. My love for my country is not. My respect for the township of Cawcolin diminishing. I'm asking the township of Cawcolin at this time to drop all actions and violations against me immediately, as I've been trying as hard as I possibly can. I do not believe proper procedures were followed by the township, and I would not want anyone else in the shoes I wear daily, not even those of you who are against me. And if I get my paper apart here. To me, the citizens of Cawcolin Township, watch your elected officials, know your rights. Ask someone you may see hurting if they need help, need a helping hand rather than a threat. If someone is known to have health issues, keep it private. Some may care, some may not. Judgment day will come to all of us, the rich, the poor, the educated, the uneducated, the disabled, elderly, the honest, and the liars. It's not my job to judge any one of you, as we will all someday face the same judge. I'll leave you with that. Life is short. But to be a community, we need to care about those less fortunate than others, more so than the fortunate, to keep a balance of our God-given rights and not leave those who cannot keep up behind. Yes, anything else that you want me to add?
No, I think that.
You're a veteran, Larry?
Yes.
You are? Have you been in touch with Bay County Veteran Affairs to get assistance?
I have not.
This isn't a question.
question. I'm checking to see if he has resources available to him for his situation.
We
And
currently
if
do
he's
not.
a veteran, he should have some resources, and perhaps he just doesn't know who to talk to. So I would be happy to give you that information, Larry, so that you can talk with
Thank
the
you.
officer there who can help you.
That would be
Okay.
great, thank you. I tried to get that back 8 months ago.
Okay.
And then I'd like to speak on my own behalf as well, if that's acceptable.
Sure.
May
Okay.
I have your own full name, please?
Yes, my name is Jessica, last name is Loan, L-O-A-N.
Thank you.
And I just have a few statements that I would like to throw out there. As far as Mr. Letourneau being served the notice for the court hearing, it was not sent first-class mail, it was not sent certified mail, there was no process server, he was not notified properly. With the medications that he is currently taking, he does not have the mental cognitive ability to keep these things straight on his own. Henceforth, his son and daughter-in-law are on the deed. They were not notified of any of this. Again, it is against his federal rights as a human to not have his medical conditions disclosed to anyone other than who he so chooses. And that was disclosed in front of all of you without his knowledge, without his consent, and discussed. That is absolutely unacceptable in my opinion. And also one more thing. Last year, October and November, I'm not sure the dates, the judge gave him until June to have the property cleared. So with that being cleaned up, not cleared, I should say, with the amount of improvements and progress that we have made on the property, I'm not sure what the issue still is there, but I just wanted to know when the township was granted more authority than the court itself. And that's pretty much all I have to say for that. So
Thank you.
I appreciate your time.
Do I have to come up there, or can I read it from right here?
We can send the mic back to you.
Okay. Hello, my name is Betsy Grew, and I reside at 2565 East River Road, Calhoun. I'm a longtime resident of Calhoun, and I'm a widow who is disabled. I've been paying property taxes in Calhoun Township for over 30 years on multiple pieces of property that I own individually and with partnership. It has come to my attention that property that I own at 2015 Waters Road since June of 2001, litigations with the township, I was never notified once. It has come to my attention that the property is in back taxes and I again have never been notified by the township. Please note that I stated I was personally never notified. It has come to my attention that there's going to be a tax lien going against the property I own with James Resler due to litigation I was never notified about. How can this happen? I have known James Resler for many years and he cannot read or write. So how can a judgment go against a property without someone's understanding of the violation or violations? Proper notification to all property owners, I believe, is a constitutional right. When were my property rights going to be respected? Furthermore, who authorized this action against my property? Who did the investigation into the ownership of my property? Who authorized township to put a lien on my taxes without any notification? Does the treasurer not have any information to send me on my property? Is this a plan that the township or someone else get notified of my property? If so, who wants it? Who filed the complaint? Am I asking the township for clarification on these notifications would be honest, truthful responses? I am concerned that my property was targeted for multiple reasons. James Resler is currently working on the violations. It is known to the sheriff came by Friday and verified the truck that was in the yard of James Resler's deceased significant other Sandy Hearing, who passed away in January 2020. This vehicle was picked up by Village Towing after notification of the ownership. James Resler nor myself were not owners of the truck. The other camper on the property is licensed to John Roloff, who is the neighbor and has a permanent plate on it. I do believe anyone has the right to remove that camper as it is legally registered. The yard has been weed whipped and mowed and has made significant improvements. Many items have been cleaned and removed. I would appreciate it if charges against the property myself would be included in any and all communications from this point forward, including judgments and so forth, forfeitures. Jimmy is a good man and has lost love when he lost Sandy, as I lost James also. Life is short and precious. the uneducated or disabled citizens for not having the above disabilities to do. Please think of humanity and ask us if we're supposed to treat one another. If you need help, Jimmy would be happy to help anybody with mowing or anything else that needs to be done. I would like to make a point that this property was on back taxes in the past. I was notified at my address in Ocala, Florida at one time. It seems odd that this has changed, that I have not been notified of any back taxes since. It has been quite some time. Has there been any tampering with my property information in the township Holland office? This would avoid giving me notices on shared property interest. I would appreciate an investigation into this. It has also come to my attention that Supervisor Davison is this property who gave the zoning administrator Fred Schmidt the contract business cards who can do this job. Nighthawk Services owner Billy Custer, $26,000 for cleanup. And another one, S&S Services handyman, Scrappy's Cleanout, owner Paul Strait for $10,000. I don't. These are outrageous bids and seem to be a copy and paste. The bids are coming almost identical again. Investigations in my shared property should be investigated as this seems to be planning intentional. The township board, please ask yourself if you can, would this type of treatment happen if it were part of your family or friends? A mother, grandmother, sister, disabled widow, and a longtime taxpayer and resident. Please help me get answers on how this can be allowed to happen. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Name, address?
Hi, my name's Jeff Uholtz. I live at 1640 South Huron Road. I filed a couple complaints on some water issues I've been having with my neighbors, manipulating the driveway. Actually an easement. I own the easement, and there's a few neighbors behind me, and they have really manipulated the water over the last 20 years, and especially in the last couple of years. I haven't heard nothing from the township really. No letters, no nothing on anything about this situation. I messaged our zoning guy, I believe it's Fred, and this is what I get back from him. Well, I filed these complaints back in November of last year, and I got a hold of Fred on 1/9/23. Good afternoon, Fred. I was wondering if you had a chance to figure out the easement and water runoff problems that I'm having with my neighbors at my place, Jeff Uholtz, 1640. Any questions, feel free to get a hold of me. Thanks, Fred. Fred, on 1/10/23. I've spoken to the township supervisor. He is now involved. Should have some more info about this. 2/24/23. Good afternoon, Fred. Wondering if you have any answers for me since you got the township supervisor involved in my easement issue. 3/8/23. Still wondering if you and the township supervisor found anything out about my issues with the driveway and water runoff in my yard. What should be going back to the ditch? Thanks, Fred. So, on 3/20. So, Fred, what's going on? It's been 4 months. Last few times I missed you, no response. Fred, I'll call him in AM and call you. Sorry. 4/26. Good afternoon, Fred. Jeff Uholtz, 1640 South Huron Road. Filed a few complaints on water issues, and I have not received any information of any kind on what's going on. 4/26. Fred, I sent this to the township lawyer, and I'm meeting with him next Monday. This is another project, so hopefully we can have some assistance and answers next week. I haven't heard back from Fred since that date. I come up here in March and I talked to Sam. Well, Sam was so gracious to come out and take a look, and his opinion, or what he told me to do, is dig a ditch down my easement. Well, that's fine. I can do what I want on my property, but I can't cross the neighbor's property to dig the ditch or open up the easement at the end that he's got blocked. So let me refer to the township ordinance we have here. No premise shall be filled or graded so as to discharge surface runoff on adjoining premises in such manner as to cause ponding or surface accumulation of such runoff. Therefore, in instances where the final grade is above the adjacent to the properties, it is the responsibility of the property owner to construct, swale, ditches, provide other satisfactory means of preventing surface water from draining onto adjacent properties. Well, the neighbor has graciously built my driveway up so much, it's running my property, it's running in the neighbor's property. He's pretty well blocked off the end of my water flow. There's a ditch 50 yards behind that. So if anybody would like to come out and take a look, I'm at 1640, you can drive down my easement. The pile of dirt by the driveway there by my garage is the dirt I've removed. Not that I was put in there. I've never put dirt in my driveway. And over the last 20 years, he's done it 4 or 5 times, the neighbor. And back in 2021, he dumped a bunch of dirt and made a mess in my property. I got damage to my basement, I got damage to my sidewalk. So I'd like to know what's going to be done about it. Because there's natural flow doctrines for water in Michigan. And I'm on top of a hill, and that's got to go back to the ditch, and he's got it blocked off, Sam. And about 3 weeks after I filed my first complaint in November, I seen you back there talking to Dennis. I know your truck, and I know what you look like. So nobody came and talked to me until March when I come up here, and you were gracious. You come out and looked at it and told me to dig a ditch down the middle of it. Well, it's my property. I can do whatever I want to the end. But what do I do when I get to the neighbors? I got a neighbor there, and I got another neighbor to go through. So I would like the township to help me out on this issue. That's all I have to say for now.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Brad Eddy, 1890 South Huron Road. I understand exactly where you're coming from. The incompetency of the supervisor and the attorney after hearing these people's stories, yours. I think they're everywhere. I think he needs to go. I think he needs to go. I think they're jokes. I think they do nothing but help the elite. And there is an elite in the township. I mean, the ponding of water, us at Eddy Brothers, we've had it happen for many, many years. Okay? And it happens to be jackasses like this.
We're in the same ditch right there.
You know? And there's no reason for it. It's all because of friendships that he's got. Trust me, there's violations all over. Fred Schmidt told me, he goes, I got those 2 contractors that these people, from that man. Well, guess what? One of the contractors for the $26,000, he don't even have a legal business. His DBA is expired. Boy, Sam, did you pick that card up right with that? Or is it outdated? Or did you get it at a BCTOA meeting? I mean, who's giving you the cards? You seem to be running all the township's business. And then, you know what would be interesting? Is if the lawyer even billed for the information for talking to that. Because these guys, they're one and the same. And as far as what I've seen with Miss Betsy Grew's property, when you look at the forfeitures and you see that her name is not even spelled on the forfeiture paper, she had no notices. That goes to the treasurer. The treasurer made sure she did not get it. But there's a thing called BS&A software the township uses. And it's got an audit record. It either happens in the assessor's office or there. But to me, this is a racketeering act. It goes against property owners and it goes against elderly, uneducated people. My dad owned Eddy Brothers. He had a 10th grade education. I met James Resler. He's a good-hearted man. He's got a heart of gold. His brother's here on behalf of him. I've went to these properties. I've met these people. I went to register of deeds. I found out who owned these properties because I'm a contractor who bid on these. I seen the bid was for $26,000 for one. I understood they had to be sealed bids with the state of Michigan, anything over $15,000. Guess what? I'll bet my bids are not sealed anymore. I'll bet that the supervisor slid that thing right open. Let's see this. Because that's who he is. Whatever it takes. And come on, just slam it down, Sam. Slam that gavel down. Make yourself
About 30
proud.
seconds left.
Make yourself proud. You need to go.
Thank
Why
you.
don't all your buddies show up to these meetings? The people who puppeteer you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Thank you, yeah.
Name and address, please.
Alan Penix, I live at 53 43 South Linwood Beach Road, and I own the home at 43 South Linwood Beach Road. And I'm objecting to multiple buildings being permitted to be built on the C1 property that borders my property by Elite. They claim that they have a hardship that was brought on them, that they're bought the property thinking that the plans that Roger Hoyle gave them were approved. I've got an email from Roger Hoyle where him and I had talked about the property. The property borders my property. Roger had always told me he would sell me the property before he ever sold it to anybody else. My beef isn't with the people that are building this project as much as it is with Roger. Roger because of greed, and the folks building their project because of revenge. Their friends got kicked out of the campground, so they bought the 3 vacant lots that Roger had. One of them was bordered to my property. Everybody that ever drove by that property thought it was my property. My kids grew up playing on that piece of property. The lot is 57 feet wide. They want to build proposed. They're on the plans that Roger sent me. They're proposed. He never assured them that this was approved. This is an email I got from Roger. It says, Roger sent me these prints, and he'd been leaning on me for years to buy it. I said, Roger, thanks. I just had a moment to take a quick look at them. Have they been approved? The prints show them as proposed. Also, they show that next to me and Mark Pananzic's property, there are 4 residential. Did you get them rezoned as commercial yet? Roger replied on Sunday, October 31st. This is back in 2021. They are rezoned as far as I know, but you may have to have the building plans to get final approvals. I have had several meetings with Calcon Township. You should follow up on your own for the building and zoning approvals. The project was never approved. Roger used these prints to get the rezoning to get these properties C1. The lot that borders my property is 15 feet from my bedroom window. They want to build 3 cabins next to my property there. I think if anything, the C1 properties that border residential properties should get some consideration for the fact that I've been living in this home for 28 years. Their argument is I own the house at 43 on the north side, that I have that as a rental. I do have that as a rental. It's a single family rental. My son passed away in that home. We kept it in remembrance for him, and we love the area. We love what the area's brought for us. We like to share the area. We're very selective on who we rent to. We're not discriminatory by any means. Every person that rents the home next to my home knows that it's a quiet neighborhood. We don't allow partying. I got a group coming in a couple weeks from now. They have 10 of them. They wanted to do 12. I call him a kid because he's much younger than me, but he looked very young, and I made it clear with him that we like to kick our heels up and have fun too, but we're not going to tolerate partying and loud noise. I live there. The people know when they rent the house next to mine that I'm next to them. I live there. Who's going to control these people? Not only these people, but the other several homes that they want to build at the other 3 properties. So, again, I have nothing against the people that are building this project. As a matter of fact, we were friends with them for a long time. But anyhow, so yeah, the consideration I'm asking for is the property that borders my property, not to be allowed to build those little tiny homes next to mine. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Michelle Penix, and I live at 53 South Linwood Beach, and I also own 43 South Linwood Beach Road also. I have 3 boys and 1 girl. Was given the right to raise my family in a safe environment in a beautiful community. I've lived in Linwood for over 30 years, almost half my life, and all of my children's lives, and now my grandchildren have been given the same privilege. Letting my grandchildren enjoy their grandparents' home and feeling safe. We will be taking that from us, our safety to our community and our children. 3 separate locations of 3 separate dwellings on other locations. Having multiple tiny shacks will bring property down and to my home and plenty of traffic that I already have lots of in the area. These many units are adjoining the house and are close to our bedroom windows. My son Barrett's home is in his name, for his honor, like my